Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today. I hope all of you are doing absolutely fantastic. Today we are continuing the conversation on Activision Blizzard exclusivity, everyone's favorite topic in the industry. We're sitting down to talk about it right here, right now. Thank you so much for your patience. Normally when this type of news breaks, you know me, I'm there day and date, trying to be there as close to the moment as possible. We had a doctor's appointment yesterday. Don't worry, clean bill of health, but I had to make sure, health is wealth. We made a pledge to ourselves late last year. Things were going to change, so I had to take care of that first. Thank you so much for being patient. Today, we're going to talk about the breaking news of Xbox really trying their best to clear up the status of exclusivity for Activision Blizzard games that are on the way. But with that, I feel like as we read through this message, they've created another problem. A messaging problem, something that I've hit on this channel personally and especially on Defining Duke. Now, I know when I start to complain a little bit, a lot of people are going to say, oh, Xbox guy just wants his exclusives. What a mad Xbox fan, but shut your mouth, please. This has nothing to do with that. I'm happy to see other games go to other platforms. Let's make that very clear right here, right now. But with that, if you're new here, we're getting into Xbox news and information quite often these days, so consider subscribing, and we're going to be talking about Crossfire X tomorrow. Oh, shit. Prepare yourselves. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Activision Blizzard exclusivity. If I had a camera that wasn't so zoomed in on me, I'm bending the knee right now. Knee's on the floor right now. I'm bending the knee. I was wrong. It's looking like I was wrong here. Okay, I was saying that Phil Spencer with his latest tweet where he was breaking down the intent to honor the agreement with PlayStation and provide Call of Duty on PlayStation. I said there's a lot of vague wording here and legal hurdles that can easily be done to say, well, we wanted to honor these agreements, but it looks like Call of Duty is going exclusively to Xbox. But now it looks like Xbox may be facing some regulator pressure, something that we talked about in a couple of videos recently where I said, hey, I think this deal with Activision Blizzard is going to go through, but they have to be careful. They don't want to bring the wrong eyes to them. So when you read the fine print, you'll know what I'm talking about. Interestingly, the announcement of the intent to release Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles to other platforms came in the form of a Microsoft blog post where it's titled, Adapting Ahead of Regulation, a Principled Approach to App Stores. And it's pretty much a direct letter to both consumers and regulators. You can see right here in the first paragraph, it clearly explains what they're trying to do with this letter. Today, we're announcing a new set of open app store principles that will apply to Microsoft Store on Windows and to the next generation marketplaces we build for games. We have developed these principles in part to address Microsoft's growing role and responsibility as we start the process of seeking regulatory approval in capitals around the world for our acquisition of Activision Blizzard. This regulatory process begins while many governments are also moving forward with new laws to promote competition in app markets and beyond. We want regulators and the public to know that as a company, Microsoft is committed to adapting to these new laws, and with these principles, we're moving to do so. To me, this immediately reads as whatever you got to do, get the deal done, Xbox. Get the deal done. If we got to get rid of Call of Duty and put it on other platforms, we still make money with every PlayStation copy of Call of Duty sold. Take that money and go. We don't need the exclusivity here because this will just bolster Game Pass day one. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter because it works out for all consumers. Let's continue reading, though, because that's just a setup for what you're about to see. Because as we go through the article, you're going to notice that they're talking about quality, safety, security, and privacy measures, accountability, fairness, and transparency on how they're going to treat apps equally, developer choice. And it's not until we get closer to the bottom that you see the fine print on what they plan to do with Call of Duty. We also recognize that regulators may well have other important questions as they review our acquisition of Activision Blizzard. We're committed to addressing every potential question, and we want to address publicly at the outset 2 such questions here. First, some commentators have asked whether we will continue to make popular content like Activision's Call of Duty available on competing platforms like Sony's PlayStation. The obvious concern is that Microsoft could make this title available exclusively on the Xbox console, undermining opportunities for Sony PlayStation users. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision. And we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. We are also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this is the right thing for the industry, for gamers, and for our business. Now, I'm not saying this because I personally predicted so, but if you were to say prior to this blog post that Call of Duty and other franchises would be exclusive to Xbox, I think you're fair to suggest so because Microsoft's words post Activision Blizzard acquisition mirrored exactly what we saw with Bethesda. And with Bethesda's acquisition, the standard was set there by Xbox, where Phil Spencer said this word for word.
So obviously I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive because we know that's not true. There's contractual obligations that we're going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go support those games on the platforms they're on. There's communities of players. We love those communities, and we'll continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there might be things that have either contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go do. But if we're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. And that's our goal. That's why we're doing this. That's the root of this partnership that we're building.
Simply put, it's a deal about getting exclusive games on Xbox, which after being stepped all over in the Xbox One gen, makes sense. This is where I get ramped up a little bit. Again, I need to disclose, I'm happy this is going to all platforms, but it really highlights a bad messaging problem within Microsoft because you've set the standard with Bethesda. Then I look at something like Elder Scrolls 6. That is certainly a game that I personally believe, and yes, I love Skyrim, I love Bethesda Game Studios, so I could be a little biased here, but this is a game to me that is in that Call of Duty realm. Skyrim is still one of the most played games ever, and is still played a ton to this day, to the point of, we joke about it, but it's been released so many times, and each time it is sold incredibly well. There is an adoration, clear as day, for Elder Scrolls. Is it the cult hit that every year Call of Duty is? Probably not, but it's absolutely in the territory of being one of the most popular video games ever made, and it's a part of that series. So it would make sense, right, that the next entry would be available to everybody. But in fact, Xbox steps on everyone's throat and really doubles down saying like, no, it's going to be exclusive. Like it's about exclusivity, really making it super clear that even the top dog, one of your lead platform gets, is exclusive. So for me, I look at this and go, how are we going to lock down the sequel to Skyrim, if you will, as I know a lot of people not deep into the Elder Scrolls community will refer to it as? How are you going to get the next entry in the Elder Scrolls franchise exclusive, but not only Call of Duty, but other popular Activision Blizzard titles are not exclusive? Because Activision owns a slew of IP. I'd say Crash is really popular. Crash Insane Trilogy sold 10 million copies. Spyro Reignited Trilogy is very popular. If they could ever figure something out with the Marvel games and revive those are very popular. I mean, Diablo, StarCraft, World of Warcraft. What are other popular titles here? After reading it, that's what left me confused. It's like, what other popular titles? Like, how are we scaling popularity? Isn't Elder Scrolls considered wildly popular? Doom, Wolfenstein, and you've set the standard that this is about getting exclusive games, but Activision Blizzard isn't. I don't have an issue with it. I'm happy that as someone who talks about games a lot, both here and on Retro Rebound, I want more people to experience games. Why is that good? At least for me, it's not only expanding the conversation, but more people can really get into the things I'm talking about and we can share an interest. That matters to me more. So I don't care. And at the end of the day, these will be available day one on Game Pass. So there's still a win all over the place. PlayStation fans still get their games. Nintendo gets whatever the hell they want. And then Xbox fans, you got a day one on Game Pass. That's a pretty good win in my book. But again, it's that messaging issue at the top. And I think it's because, again, the regulators are sniffing around. They need this deal to go through because at the bare minimum, they know that it bolsters Game Pass. But when you look at Xbox's aggression, which wasn't that long ago with the Bethesda dealing versus this one, I think that if they didn't feel like regulators might step in or we could have this deal wiped away, that they would be having the same attitude, the same energy, because up until this point in time, Xbox was doing the same dance as they were doing post-Bethesda acquisition, the same press statements, the same comments, everything was mirroring it to a T. And then suddenly the Call of Duty breakout started to occur, and then Phil Spencer had a really vague, legally protected tweet, and now we see this, and it's like they kept inching along here, and they probably realized that this deal will be threatened to not go through if they continue to hold down Call of Duty. Because let's be real, if they knew that they could get away with it, they would do it. They would do it. I know a lot of people say, hey, Xbox isn't out to kill PlayStation, but let's be real, PlayStation practically killed Xbox last generation. I mean, the Xbox brand was almost dead. Like, they were about to get rid of it. That is a true story. And let's just say that video PlayStation taking one disc, handing it to another executive. Oh, they were tasting the blood with that one. So, you know, I think Xbox would have no problem kicking PlayStation while they're down a little bit. A lot of people have also speculated maybe because of the Bungie deal, Xbox has loosened things up a little bit. Like, oh, we're going to keep Bungie multi-plat, so you're going to keep Call of Duty multi-plat. It's possible. That's what sucks about all this. All these things are in such close proximity to each other, it's hard to tell. Obviously, the Bungie deal was not in response to the Activision Blizzard acquisition. They just couldn't have come together that quickly. I do wonder if there was any influence at all on the way that PlayStation was handling Bungie, because it's clear that their deal was to not only get a revenue stream from a very successful live service game, but to bolster their own live service games, and I think get some value there in Spartacus, whatever that ends up being, where maybe that is a message sent to Xbox saying like, okay, your turn now. And that's the thing is, I feel like it'd be great if PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox allied together, because you got Amazon knocking on the door with now Lost Ark, which looks awesome, by the way. But Lost Ark is another huge game. New World was a huge game. Like, Amazon's coming in. There's rumors that Apple's going to come in. We don't want Google coming in. Apparently, they're selling off their stuff because they did such a horrible job. Tencent. Like, there are so many worse evils out there that these three should be working together. When you really look at the last couple of generations, I'm sorry, I'm going on a bit of a spiel here, but when you look at the 360 PS3 gen, PlayStation was down for a while. Up until the later part of the gen, they started to bounce back. Then the last generation with the PS4 and Xbox One was like practically dead in the water for the whole time. This is the first generation I can remember since like the PS2, original Xbox, and GameCube era, where all three are really strong. They should be supporting each other because we're in a really good time right now in a lot of ways. So now returning to the actual subject of this video, I do think it's really good that Xbox is letting Call of Duty go multi-plat. I don't think they're doing so willingly, but I think they're doing it to make sure it gets the deal done. However, it does come as a bit of a surprise because I don't want to let go of the theory, which is I really feel like this was your perfect weapon to get PlayStation to let Game Pass onto their console. And that would have been huge, right? Because then we could maybe see one day, and I know it sounds crazy, but let's break these barriers down. PlayStation games on Xbox. That would be so cool. I would love to see that. But I don't know if it would ever truly occur if we don't have that defining IP that could break down the wall and be like, look, yeah, there's too much to lose here. We need that. We're going to take that app and all those games. And then you start to see the grass is greener on the other side. PlayStation, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Xbox and Nintendo have to play ball first, because let's talk about that next. I know there's a lot to go over here in what seemed like a simple article, but they say they want to support Nintendo's console when, again, you look at those background photos, they are so intentionally putting Nintendo on the spot. They want to put Game Pass there first. I can guarantee it. Part of me wants to say, you know, make it happen. Oh, hype, hype, hype. And yes, the idea of it occurring is going to be insane whenever that does happen. But I gotta be honest, the wireless adapter in Nintendo Switch isn't that great. And let's be real, like Gears of War on Switch, they're not porting that straight through. They're gonna make that stuff run through the cloud. So, you know, it's something that I want to see because of the novel concept. But I think in practice we have a little bit of a ways to go, because when you look at some of the cloud versions on the Switch, like apparently Kingdom Hearts cloud version is terrible on Switch. And, you know, we're thinking like one day Starfield cloud version will be running on. I don't know about that. So we have a ways to go, but I do feel like Xbox Game Pass on Switch as an app will be next eventually, provided Nintendo's willing to play ball, which I imagine they are. They seem cool. You're cool, right, Nintendo? Anyway, that's all I've got to say about Call of Duty, the exclusivity debacle, as well as Nintendo and PlayStation. Really interesting times, and it's only February, so this conversation will certainly continue to develop, and I'll be here to sit down and talk about it whenever that occurs. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of this news? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.